She is my second and third grade teacher at Sibyllsville School.
Do you have any interesting stories with her or memories, anything?
Well, I was a little hard to teach, and I wanted to be outside a lot, but she made it interesting enough that I really enjoyed and learned a lot from her. Very good teacher.
Anything you'd just like to say to her to wrap it up?
Happy birthday and many, many more.
I met her about 21 years ago when I was born, and she's been my grandmother ever since.
Do you have any interesting stories or anything you'd like to share about her?
You know, I was trying to think of something in particular that stood out, but I think, you know, it's not more about the individual memories, but the fact that she's been present in so many of the events in my life. That's what I'd say is the most special thing, just knowing that she's been there for all the major events so far in my life, and that's pretty special to me.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday?
Happy birthday, Grammy. The big 100, not many people reach that mark, and I feel incredibly blessed to have you in my life for so long. You've been a big part of my life, and I really appreciate everything you've done for me, and have a happy birthday.
Well, Aunt Naomi is my aunt. My dad was her oldest brother, and she was the next oldest. So I met her because we were related.
Are there any interesting stories or memories you'd like to share?
Let's see. I remember we used to come up to Sibyllsville on, family trips a lot when I was a kid. And Uncle Bill would cut our hair, not just the boys, he would cut our hair too. And Aunt Naomi made an outfit for me when I was little for church. It was a little pink wool suspender skirt, and I wore it and Edie wore it, and for years my mother kept it. It was in the cedar chest in my mom's bedroom for a long time. And I always heard what a good seamstress she was all of my life. Everyone talked about what beautiful clothes she made.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday?
Just that, I've been happy to share 64 of them with her. So she's a wonderful aunt.
She was my teacher, and she was a very good teacher. I'm Lula Turner. I was a Tressler, married a Turner. She was a very good teacher. She was strict, and we always got to go outside at recess if we got our work done. But she always would stand up and say, before we go out for recess, she'd say, "You better be ready to come in when that bell rings." And the kind of a bell they had then, they held out the window and rang a big bell. That's how we knew when it was time to go in from recess.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday? Is there anything you'd like to say to her?
Oh, yes, I'm so glad she made it to 100, and I hope she makes it a lot more. Happy birthday, and I love you.
When Matt was born, she came down to our house to live with us to help take care of Matt, and she was a help then. And then we tried the same thing with Andy how many years later? 6 years later. And then Andy would cry, and she'd say, "I don't know what's the matter with that kid."
Do you have anything you'd like to add, or anything you'd like to say to Naomi?
Happy birthday. We'll see you at the next 100.
All right.
Mrs. Waynant, of course, was my second and third grade teacher in sometime in the 40s, but I'm not that old. And she always drank warm water, and we would fight over who could go to the bathroom and get her warm glass of water. And the other thing she let me do, she let me teach the class. And one time she was out because she had scalded her arm, and I believe she was out more than a week. And another girl from upstairs in the 7th grade came down, and the two of us handled the classes. Math, reading, anything. We just did it.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday?
Oh, she's the best.
Sterling was her brother, my husband. She's great.
I know Naomi as a daughter-in-law. I married her son, Ronald.
Do you have any memories about her?
Yes, doing the apples. When we're doing the apples outside and making cider, and we'd stand there and wash those silly apples and wash them in the cold, and then put them in the cider press and crunch them down, and then she would cold pack them, and all winter long our boys would drink fresh apple cider, and it was wonderful.
What would you like to say to her?
Happy 100th birthday, Mom.
I met her when I became pastor of St. John's.
Do you have any stories or memories about her? Anything specific?
I just greatly respect her, and I love to hear stories about when she taught in the old school. And I admire her because she would come to church when it was very difficult for her to come, but she just loved the Lord and she wanted to come and be with her church family.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday?
I hope that she feels all the love of the people that are here today and all the people that couldn't be here. Thank you.
She was known as Mrs. Waynant. She's our third grade teacher. She's probably the best third grade teacher in the nation if they had a contest for longevity and the number of students, and she still remembers everybody and asked about everybody, and she's very remarkable.
Is there any stories or memories you have about her?
I was telling the people over here that are related to her that she was not only a good teacher, but she had discipline, but she didn't crack the whip. She just had an even keel, had total respect of everybody, and taught everybody a lot. Everybody learned a lot in her class, and she was outstanding.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday?
Just what I told her in person. Happy birthday. It's a great event. 100 years is quite a tribute. I hope she gets on Willard Scott.
I'm her grandson, and yeah.
Are there any special memories you'd like to share?
Well, I remember we used to go to her house pretty regularly, and I'd always see her, and she'd always have something for me. She'd make a meal. She's always really nice, and I always appreciated that about her.
Is Grammy the best cook that you know?
Yeah, I'd have to say yes. Mom might get a little disappointed about that, but sorry, you can't be the master. Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say to Grammy on her 100th birthday?
I'd like to wish her a happy 100th birthday. She reached the triple digits. A lot of people don't get to say that, and I think it's great, and I hope for many more.
Well, I know her from living in this community, and I know her because she taught my children. And I remember when her husband was a barber in town.
Is there any special memories you have about her?
I just remember she was always very nice, and I always enjoyed her when she was teaching the kids.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday?
I just want to wish her a happy birthday, and hope she enjoys good health.
Thank you.
She was my second grade teacher back in the early 50s, actually, here at Sevillesville Elementary School.
Do you have any memories about her teaching you?
I have lots of memories, but mostly I just remember how caring she was and how I looked so forward to going to school every day.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her?
I'd like to wish her a happy birthday and good health and many, many years to come.
She's a great grandma. My little sister pretty much summed that up. I'm Katie, this is Julie, and we're both great granddaughters.
Do you guys have any specific memories about Naomi?
Well, last year at her, what was that, 99th, I guess? 99th birthday, she had a lot of trouble blowing out her candles. So, after a couple of blows, she gave her candles a really nice glare and a really stern talking to and said, "Oh, come on, you, blew them out."
Alright, is there anything you'd like to say to her?
Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Grammy.
We always enjoyed being together and talking things over. My husband, he was great for that, too.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday?
Well, I wish her many more.
Naomi is my grandmother. I called her Grandma until you guys came along, and then I called her Grammy. Okay.
Do you have any special stories with her? Any memories you can share?
One that I think she thinks is really funny is that when I was 6 years old, I got the mumps. And I only had the mumps on one side. And I was sick the one day that she wasn't there at the house. She came down to take care of me because I couldn't go to school. I was sick and contagious. And so what I did for that week, I was really big into Sonny and Cher. And I had them on a tape, a little cassette. It's a reel-to-reel, which became a cassette. But anyway, so I played Sonny and Cher over and over and over and drove her crazy. And anyway, what happened was the batteries died in the recorder, except I didn't know that the batteries were dead, but she did. And what she told me was that I better put it away really quickly before my dad came home and found out that I broke his recorder. And so Grandma didn't have to listen to Sonny and Cher anymore. But that's just one memory. I have lots of memories of staying and all the thunderstorms that would come through and being awake, and Frisky the dog, and how she would wash Frisky in one pan and rinse her in another pan, or him. I think it was her.
Is there anything you'd like to say to her on her 100th birthday?
Well, happy birthday, Grandma. Congratulations on living to 100. That's really special, as are you. We love you very much.
She's my aunt, so I've known her all my life.
Do you have any stories about her? Memories of her?
I remember a car she brought down to the farm. We lived on the farm where she grew up, and she brought a new car down there. It was, I think it was a Chevy Impala, and it had fins on the back or something. It was the fanciest. You remember that car? I don't even know what. It had fins or something in the back. It was the sharpest, sportiest looking thing for my aunt to be driving at that time. I say it's not the 100 years. It's the fact of all the things that the example she set over the 100 years, the people she's touched, her family, her friends, her church. That's the important thing. It doesn't matter. It's a gift to get 100 years from God. But what she's done in those 100 years, as an example to everybody else, that's the important thing.